Hi, everyone, and welcome back. And with me is Supervisor Richard Forster. How's it going, Richard?
Good
to see you again.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right.
So we're going to talk about this week's agenda.
Yeah, we have a relatively short agenda, but some big items on the agenda.
Okay, let's hear those.
First up is the countywide regional traffic mitigation fee, the RTMF program. I'm on the committee representing the county on this RTMF committee, and there's a committee that meets to, another committee that meets to go through the different aspects before the item goes to ACTC, before the item goes to the cities and the county to approve. Because each time you make an amendment to this plan, the cities and the county have to approve it.
Okay.
This one has several changes in it, which some people may consider them big changes, but the one is repayment of monies back to, of the monies that came in, all of the monies that come in, which isn't very much now. You're only talking about $140,000 range, but of all that money, immediately goes back to repay Jackson and City of Bayonne for their Wirus project, which is their bypass project, but it's a western region that they have down there. They've changed the whole name to change the identity of it, but all the monies go back to repay them. I think it was only about $132,000 that came in off traffic mitigation fees this year. Next item up on the RTMF was to ask for an additional loan from Ione and Jackson's Sutter Street project of $250,000 to go to the Sutter Creek project, which is the Bowers Drive, Prospect Drive intersection. So they are about $250,000 short, so that money will be loaned to that project. And then thirdly, there's an amendment that they're asking to the overall agreement that affects the amount of fees to be charged to industrial, to commercial, and to the residential zones. What it's going to do is slightly increase the amount that goes to residential. It will decrease the amount that goes to commercial. Industrial will not be changed because the agreement, the relationship was not found to be such that you could lower industrial. There was no relationship between industrial and residential where you can find a reasonable nexus in a relationship between the commercial and the residential, because those people who live in houses are going to go shop at the commercial. Not as many of them are going to go to industrial sites. So those are the three areas, and all the reasonings in the documents. There's a lot of pages of documentation here. I saw the look on your eyebrows there. But a lot of that comes out of the different formulas that you can use. And this one is the Institute of Traffic Engineers that's being used, where it actually breaks it down, each class and each size of commercial, each size of industrial. Right. But a reasonable nexus, the committee felt, could not be found between industrial and residential. So we're going to leave that part alone, but others will change. The commercial will come down, and we're trying to do that with a nexus and try to find the reasonable nature of it so that commercial, you might be able to boost their business a little bit more.
So there are more cars going into the commercial area, and therefore it's going to go down for them?
The fees for the commercial are going to go down slightly because of that reason, because of the nexus. Now, it is a relatively percentage-wise very small increase in residential, but it's a relatively big increase or decrease for commercial.
So do we see less people driving to home into their residential areas?
Not less, but with the nexus, you can establish the amount of times, let's say 10 trips a day that they'll go in and out of the residential. But you can also find a nexus, a clear nexus, of the amount of times those residential customers will drive in and support the commercial businesses. So with that, you can take that commercial fee down slightly, and it will help those commercial businesses.
Richard, maybe you can help me. Does this affect the cities, the incorporated cities, or is this just unincorporated areas?
No, I think it will affect the cities too, because this is a regional traffic mitigation fee. That's why on the committee you have representatives from Ione, from Plymouth, from Sutter Creek. Basically, the whole county is represented there. Jackson has representation, so even Amateur City. So.
Okay.
Okay. Amador Resource Conservation is going to come in and give a report on their activities for the year. I'm glad within the agenda item that I looked that sometimes you see a report on their activities and then a funding request. So we don't see a funding request, and we have never funded out of the general fund anything to do with the resource conservation district. So I'm glad to see that, and I hope we will not get any more requests because you know, I think the board is done funding a lot of areas out there that, and even the areas that we are funding, we have to see some return on the taxpayers' investment to go out and fund activities out in the county. Whether it's Chamber of Commerce, whether it's Amador Council on Tourism, whether it's Amador Economic Development Corporation, there's got to be a return on investment for the taxpayers. So I think the board is looking very clearly at that from here on out, and it has been. The last couple of years, it's been scrutinizing every contribution that it's making to outside sources when they come in and make those requests. I have to compliment Maureen Funk, always comes in with a very professional, very well put together report on her activities. Administrative agency, this will be a big one tomorrow. Potential recall of some employees who were in that 21-day layoff window, which is now passed, and those employees, some of them stayed on and helped, some of them came back part-time for a small period of time, but the recommendation at this point is still to bring back the facilities, the animal control person, number 8, that's going to be a part-time position, .40 full-time equivalent, so not even a half-time. And then the information technology and the building department position, no other positions would be recalled. However, some of those positions may find employment in the county in other areas. There are other positions that could become vacant. So what we're left with then in the recommendation from our CAO, Chuck Eiley, is that out of that the $1.148 million the county got back, $702,651 would go to recall 10 employees, $200,000 would go to transfer into our public works account. That's the maintenance of effort fund that was used to balance the budget this year, where we were told, yes, you can use that money, where past years you're not able to. And then $200,000 would, $283,000 would go into contingency to help balance our books, and then the building department has found $37,000 that they can use for a part-time
So
employee.
Richard, is the county offices going to be open 5 days a week now?
County office was open last Friday, and it will remain open 5 days a week from here on out, except for holidays.
Okay. Thanks for coming by.
All right, Tom.
And thanks for staying with us. More news on the other side of the break.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.